Alright guys, apologies, I had to restart the stream. But anyway, welcome back. Welcome to midweek builds with stereo studs. So we're going to start something new today. I'm going to start it now. I'll hopefully get back on again this evening to carry on building a wee bit more of it. I've a wee bit around about to do at some point today, so it's probably going to take me away from the house for a while, but so sort of to carry on from where we left off, before I cut off, just sort of going through the sets that we've built recently on the last couple of streams. So we've built a few smaller sets. I didn't want to start into anything too significant because I've got some upcoming streaming projects with another YouTuber, so I've built a few smaller sets. So we built a little produce van and little vegetable plot here. So it's just a very straightforward, simple little city build, but nice this for vehicle and a few other wee elements to incorporate into my layout. We also built the little arcade machine here, which opens up and reveals a fun little gaming den inside. So this is for our upscale minifigure. When he's not traveling with a little suitcase, he can unwind on his arcade machine. It's maybe a touch on the small side. You might need to sit down to play it, but a bit of fun nonetheless. But so yeah, that kind of was the last few bits I built. I'm actually going to move on to something a little bit more significant today, so I'm going to just move a few of these wee pieces out of the way. We're run out of space in behind here. I'm just going to set them down on the ground. So today's build then, I'll put the arcade machine down. I'll leave the minifigure up just because I think he's nice to look at. I'll leave him with his little luggage as well. So today's build then, it's actually still in its ready to ship box. Because it's just been sitting in my backlog unopened. Well, basically since I got it. I did open it to check the contents and everything is there, as you'd expect. So I'll crack the box open anyway. I'm going to let you have a wee look. It should be fairly obvious from my thumbnail and the title of the actual stream itself. But, drum rolls please. Hola Bautista Contreras, thank you very much for dropping by. Hope you're good. Today we have the Twilight house, rather the Cullen house from Twilight. So it's Lego idea set number 62. It is set number 21354, and in total we have 2001 pieces. So a reasonable size of a build. It's not too large. What I like about this set, first and foremost, is the actual house itself. I think it's a very, very, very cool build. A nice sort of modern sort of 3-story house here, which feels like something I could definitely factor into my layout. I also really like the sort of pickup truck that comes with it as well. So again, another nice vehicle. Jillian Vasquez says hi. Hi Jillian, how are you? Thank you for dropping by. Not particularly fond of the werewolf here, but it's Twilight, so it stands to reason that there's going to be a werewolf. And we have our vamps up here. I am not a Twilight fan. I have never ever watched Twilight. So this has been purchased purely on its appearance and how I think it'll factor in. What are you doing? Julian, I'm going to start building the Cullen house here from Twilight. So I've just unboxed it. It's just come out of the box for the first time. Just having a wee look over it, and then we're going to start building. So yeah, I don't know anything about Twilight. Yes, absolutely Lego, sorry. I am building the Lego Twilight house. So I know nothing about Twilight. I will probably come across super ignorant as I'm working my way through it because I don't know the characters, I don't know references, I don't know anything about it. But I like the house, I like the vehicle, and I bought it on that basis. So I'm going to crack it on open anyway, and then we can get into the build. So it's one of these newer boxes then that comes with a lid, which also means that there's a lot of tabs on it. I'll just open my, work my way through them all here. And not the damage the box. And there's just the back of the box then, if anyone wants to have where you look. So again, it just shows the house, and then you can see that each of the levels does lift off. So it is modular in design, obviously not built on a base plate, so it differentiates in that regard. And the roof also comes off as well. So you've good access into each of the levels of the house. And then in terms of scale, it measures 37 inches or 37 centimeters or 14.5 inches in length. And it's 21 centimeters or 8.5 inches tall, so it's a reasonably substantial set. It comes with 7 minifigures, which you can see on the top. And then obviously we have the werewolf that you can build also. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Dude, it's still available for retail, so no need to waste your money, pay $500 for it off me. I bought it with the intention of building it anyway, so I don't mind the value. So, there are instructions here, so everything's in the paper bags. Have we got to see how many bags we have here? 8, 10, 15, and then here's bag number 1. I am building it, yeah, I'm building it on this stream. Well, I'm starting to build it in this stream. Bag number 2. So I think there's approximately 18 bags then in this set. So should keep us building for a little while. Like I said, 2001 pieces, so it's not enormous. Hit the Benjamin for a like and a sub. Says totally murdering. We'll crack open the instructions here first, have a wee look at them. So it's a Lego Ideas set. And the instructions in the Lego Ideas set usually have, little bits of information about, I suppose in this case, maybe information about the show and the designer, the fan designer and the Lego designer. So you get sort of a few wee bits of information here and there. We also have a sticker sheet here with 15 stickers. So there's a few stickers in this, mostly decor by the looks of it. So that's just the wee sticker sheet then. No, it looks, the one, it looks like a much bigger set than it is. 2001 pieces, comparatively speaking, isn't huge compared to some of the other ones. Even the Sanderson's college there was 3,000 odd pieces, but then it was absolutely stacked full of detail. So I don't know how much detail there's going to be in this. I suppose for the most part, there's a lot of windows in it. Which obviously will take up a lot of the sort of build space, which will then obviously keep the piece count down. So yeah, it's not a huge set in that regard. We'll just have a wee look. So meet the fan designer. So the fan designer of this set was Nick Michaels, whose Lego Ideas name is Lobster Thermidor. And he's from California. He works at a school, he's a musician, and he loves building Lego. Clearly also a huge Twilight fan. So that's the fan designer in it. So that's the guy who put the actual design for it on the Lego Ideas. that was eventually selected and turned into a Lego set. So the Twilight Saga Part 2. So this is from, I think this set is based on the Twilight Saga Part 2. So for anyone that has followed or watched Twilight, that's kind of where it's from. There's a wee bit of information there, and then just a bit of detail about the Cullen House. Original house designed by Skylab Architecture, has an almost ethereal quality about it in the way that it seems to float among the trees. Blah 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 blah. Creative works of art, Lego idea sets are passion driven creations. So just again a wee bit more information here about sort of the Lego ideas line as a whole, and then the seven characters. Well, again, it's just telling you how you can arrange the sets and sort of make a bit of fun out of it. And then a wee bit of information here from the Lego Ideas design team. The first time we see the Cullen House in Twilight, Bill has already met most of the intriguing family. So again, I don't know much about Twilight, so I can't really speak too much about the actual show and sort of the references and stuff, but there's a lot of information in there anyway, if anyone cares to read it. I'm just going to crack on now with the actual build itself, because I've jibber-jabbered here enough. Sana Faridi says, like the Lego setup. Thank you very much. This is very temporary. I just wanted a wee somewhere to do my streams and just have a wee bit of my Lego sitting, so I've put a few units in here for now. I do plan to have a more permanent space, but unfortunately I can't get the internet up there at the minute, so I can't actually stream. Okay, so we're opening up bag 1 then, which has 2 smaller bags inside it, full of lots of little pieces, and we're actually starting off by building the pickup truck. So I think bag 1 should build the majority, if not all, of the pickup truck. And we also have our first minifigure comes out in this bag as well. Now, I apologise to anyone who is a fan of Twilight. I have no idea who these characters are. So I'm basically going to be talking about them as minifigs rather than characters. So I'll build a figure here anyway, and then I'll let you have a wee closer look at it. Got our trusty brick separator, we'll need that because there's a lot of stickers. So she just has a standard pair of black legs and no printing on the legs. Flesh tone minifigures, flesh tone hands and head. And then we've got printing on the front and back of the torso, and then a sort of nice long brown hairpiece. So I'll bring us up to the camera, let you have a little look. Okay, so I'll sort of keep the hair off for now as well. So there you can see we've got a nice little kind of, I don't know, it's not a hoodie, but it's a little jacket with a front pocket on there. Nice sort of green colour. And then again, a wee bit of detail on the back. And then you can see we've got 2 faces. We've got this sort of little kind of smiley smirky face on this side. And then here, a bit more quizzical. A wee bit of a raised eyebrow. And then there we have the hair. So nice sort of long brown hair then. So again, like I say, I don't know the characters from this show, so I don't know who that is. But if anyone is a fan of Twilight and is on the stream, by all means, let us know down in the comments who indeed that figure might be. For my benefit, as much as anything else. And that's going to be the case the whole way through this particular build. I'm not familiar with any of the characters, so. And then we've got a little something in our hand here. I'm not sure what it represents, but it's a little green flower on a brown stud, so I don't know if it's like a little plant or something. Okay, and then it's on with the vehicle, so a wee bit of plate work at the bottom then. So it's a 6-wide vehicle, entirely brick built, which is nice. It doesn't use any of the sort of larger molded pieces for the chassis. What am I doing? I'm already making mistakes. So just putting the sort of fenders and wheel rims on here. The one is not still available on Lego's website. I'm pretty sure it hasn't retired yet. You should be able to get it for, sort of normal retail price, I would have thought. I did get this actually on the weekend that it launched. I just ordered it on Lego's website, so I've had it for a little while. I have seen it discounted since then, but I got two really good gifted purchases when I bought it. I got the a little plant set, nice little sort of flower set, and also one of the red space babies. Which is cool. eBay 13. What do you mean by 13? Are you a fan of Twilight? Are you a fan of the movies, or do you just like the set? Oh, just eBay, okay. Look, at the end of the day, you're not going to overpay too much for this set because, like I said, it's still in production, it's still available direct through Lego, so there's sort of no value in people marking it up because theoretically no one's going to pay for something they can get cheaper sort of direct from retail. So if you've even paid a little bit more, it won't be too much. Building up sort of around the wheels here. There's a wee bit of, it's all kind of sideways built, so we put a few wee sort of brackets on the fenders, or on the wheel arches, whatever you call them. And then we're just using wee curved pieces and some plates and tiles to kind of build that nice rounded shape out around. So yeah, this is one of the selling points really for me to this set was the vehicle. Again, I'm just always on the lookout for good vehicles that I can eventually sort of factor into my layout. No, I've never ever used glue on a set. I don't see any particular need. They're not sort of in such a position where they're in danger of sort of falling apart or being taken apart or anything like that. So I don't see any real need to glue them, nor would I want to for that matter. Just in case you ever take a notion of breaking it down and building it back up again. It's sometimes nice actually to have the option to rebuild the set. And depending on your storage, you mightn't have the capacity to keep things built all the time. So, you might want to break it down and then rebuild it maybe at some point in the future when you maybe cycle through sets you have on display or something like that. So, that's not something that I would do. I could understand maybe if you were sort of building to display or something like that, then perhaps you would want to maybe glue it together just to protect it maybe from prying hands. Something about this just doesn't feel right. Feels like it's just half a tile too short there. There's a bit of a disconnect between. I don't have the box to hand. It's not something I do terribly often, to be honest. More often than not, I build and keep it built. But it's just nice to have the option, isn't it? As I said, these will be sort of incorporated into my layout once I kind of get to the point of sort of getting the layout up and running. I don't quite know how I'll sort of build the house in yet, or what its role will be, or where it'll be based, but it's quite a nice house, so I kind of see it somewhere in like the countryside section, maybe like a nice out of town sort of holiday home for someone, or something like that. We'll see. That's something I need to work out at another point. What set have you been building recently? What was your most recent build? Seems to be the most of the chassis done, so we're just kind of now moving on to the windshields. Okie dokie, no rush. Together fairly quickly, this. Nice styling on the vehicle. It's kind of built in such a way where it's got some nice sort of curving. There's a lot of sideways building and stuff as well. A bit awkward to sort of build this because I'm kind of working on the other side, but I don't really have it stable. It's not really stable when turned upside down. To be able to just set it and sort of add the bricks. Right, we've got our first sticker coming up here now too, so I'll sort of get everything in place first and I'll pop a sticker on last. It's just a wee number plate on the actual the rear of the pickup truck. Sticker number 6. I've got 2 and then obviously one for the front as well. So technically there's 16 stickers in because one of these stickers is 2. Okay, so there we have it. Number plate reads 13S92M. I presume that that's the vehicle number plate in the movie. Once again, I don't know for a fact, so. I'm just going to pop the wheels on here now, sort of in advance of being told to do so, and then at least I can set the vehicle on its wheels. Makes it a bit easier to build off. So we now just need to get the sort of bed at the back and then the bonnet section all built up. Looks like it's going to be quite heavily brick built. So it'll be a substantial enough bonnet, I would think. Just building a wee flatbed then on the back. And then that just goes on there just to close it off. The truck actually looks a lot bigger in the picture on the front of the box than it does in reality. That's meant to go on there. It goes that way, of course. It's an interesting sort of technique for building up the bonnet of the vehicle. I quite like it. It's all brick built, it's built sideways. The only problem is it does kind of sit up a little bit around the windshield or the windscreen. You know, so you've got this, you know, it's kind of stud difference here from the bottom of the windshield and the top of the bonnet. And then we just have the sort of front to put on. So two more stickers here actually. So the first one is looks like a grill. It's not from Switzerland, it is the Tudor corner. Just right there. Kind of hard to see because the laptop screen looks like it's kind of glaring. So that's it there. Tudor corner, definitely one of my favourite modulars. I know obviously it's the most recent one, but I think it's spectacular. It's such a good build. It looks the part. So well done. Okay, just put this grill on here. So again, for anyone that's watched my streams before, you'll be very familiar with the fact that I use a brick separator for putting my stickers on. And I definitely find that is the safest way to do it. You just get that little bit of extra control. And it just kind of helps eliminate errors. You just, even if you've misplaced it slightly, it's very easy to kind of adjust the sticker before you've fully committed it to the tile or whatever, and you can get it back off again fairly easily, or even, you know, nudge it about ever so slightly. Brown house, this one here. That is the Sanderson's cottage from Hocus Pocus. So I built that a few streams ago actually. Okay, doing that wrong. Yeah, I built that a couple of streams ago. It was very good. It's an amazing build. Again, much like in this particular build where I know very little about Twilight, I don't know a great deal about Hocus Pocus. I have seen it. It was a long time ago, and I'm far from a huge fan. But the level of detail on the interior of that build is insane. There is so much. Like the actual house itself looks great for one, but the interior it's just mental. So they've really packed the details in. So that was another Lego idea set, much like this one, another fan design. And it was a great build. Whereabouts are you from? Whereabouts are you from? You're not from Switzerland, are you? I've never actually been, I don't think. Okay, so that's bag one finished, and with it, we have finished the truck then. So, like I said, it's just a fairly standard little pickup truck with a wee flatbed in the back, a couple of stickers on it just to add the sort of grille and number plate details, and it's 6 wide, so it's perfect for Lego layouts and stuff like that. And there is room for one minifigure. Very little detail inside, barring the steering wheel. But it's cool nonetheless, so I'll set that there anyway, and that little lady can stand on the back of it. And we'll jump into bag number 2, which gets us started then on the house itself. So lots and lots of plates here, so I suspect we're going to be working. Oh, you're from Denmark, fabulous, the home of the brick, eh? I have been to Copenhagen. I think it's a stunning city, I love it. I was there, it was a good while ago now for football. But yeah, I thought it was an amazing place. I've been to Austria, but I haven't been to Switzerland. Okay. So like I said, there's a lot of plate work here, so my sort of desk is very heavily populated by plates, so I might actually move these instructions over to this side. Just to give me a wee more room to build. You don't like football now? I always find football was a really good a good excuse to get places. We used to go to a lot of away football matches. Just following the national team. And like it's taken me lots of places all over the world, so sort of very fortunate in that regard. So that's obviously what took us to Denmark. I don't know. It doesn't really tell you in the instructions if they're all there, and I have never seen Twilight, so I don't really know much about the show. There's 7 minifigures in total, so I presume that accounts for a good proportion of them. But I wouldn't be confident enough to say whether or not there are. I could have a look online, I suppose, but I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm not sure. But yes, 7 in total. So I know you obviously know a bit more about Twilight than I do. So. Oh, it's a corner piece. you want Bella's father. Presumably he's in here. So I'm guessing this is Bella here, perhaps, isn't it? This girl in the green jacket with the brown hair. And I know Robert Pattinson's character is definitely here because I'm familiar enough with the show to know that much. I don't know beyond that, but there's no minifigures that come out in this particular bag, but so this bag is predominantly plate, so it shouldn't take too long to get through, and perhaps in the next bag we'll pull out somebody else. Maybe Bella's father will be in there. So is Bella one of the sort of main protagonists from the story? Okay, well then it would make sense, I suppose, that she's in bag number 1. Alright, so we're just, like I said, we're just doing a bit of paperwork here to build up the foundations of the house. Using some very, very interesting 3x12 wedge pieces in dark tan. So I don't really understand why. Well, maybe it's availability of parts, but there's 4 of them I've gone in rather than putting them maybe in 8x12. Oh, it may be because there's small areas that don't have studs on. That might become a bit more apparent as we get through the build. Okay. Now just a wee bit of tile work. Right, okay, and is she a werewolf? Or is she a human? I don't know, like I said, I know nothing about it, so excuse my ignorance. Okay, my mistake. So just a bit more sort of foundation building now. Seems like a bit of a sort of grassy area here on the outside. I presume this tan then is going to be devoted more so to the actual interior of the build itself. A wee bit of tile work. It's one of my favourite things to do when I'm building the kind of more modular sets is tile work. I love placing the tiles. A couple of pieces. All right. Big enough base anyway. Once I've sort of finished, I'll kind of give you the dimensions, then you can sort of get a bit of a scale for how big the actual set really is. So as widest as 20 studs wide. And I expect it's going to be the guts of we'll see. I'll wait until we get that far, and I'll just it's going to be at least 30 studs long, so it's big enough. I don't know. I'll have a look at the picture sheet here in a second and see if there's anything that suggests there is interior detailing. So I presume if there's something particularly prominent in the movie that it will be there. Finish this bit of plate work here, and then I'll have a look. So it just keeps on going, this. All building that there, it's not really... Well, maybe that needs to go for one. How that goes. Like so. Doesn't feel terribly well propped from underneath. And just try to sort of not commit too many bricks to or too many pieces to the foundation section, because it feels like a bit of a waste. But it does need to be sturdy. So we look at these stickers and see. So did you get like table and photos on the wall inside the house? So there's plenty of stickers here that suggest photographs. Various different things like sort of music, notes. There's baseball bats. There's some yogurt funny thing, piano. It looks almost like a lobster playing the drums, and then like a coat of arms and stuff like that. So I don't know what they mean at this point in time. We're most of the way through sort of finishing off the plate work here and tile work at the foundation of the build. Substantial enough actually, and like I said, I'll give the dimensions once I have just finished these last couple of pieces here. I'll actually wait until I finish the entire base, and I'll just let you know the dimensions. But like I said, it's 20 wide, and then it's at its longest 8 and 8, 16, so 32, 33, 34, 35, 6, 7, 38, 39, 40, 42 base plates, or 42 studs long by 20 at its deepest. So that's kind of the foundations that we're working on here. So it's not a small set, that's for sure. There's this little corner section here to go in, and that's no, I've made a mistake. I've messed a piece out. The same on the other side as well. There we go. Piece has gone away on me. I'll get that later. I don't need this as a spare piece anyway, so I can pick that up afterward. Oh, I made another mistake. Oh dear. Sorry, there's only one wee stud, and it's not important. It's just a spare. However, I'm making a serious amount of mistakes here. I'm not concentrating. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. Okay, yeah, so I've made a wee mistake on down the line somewhere, which I'm going to have to go back and fix. Easily sorted. Oh my goodness. I made a right pig here. I made a lot more mistakes than I realised. That I have one 3x1 green piece. Oh, there we go. That's where it goes. Right, I think we're okay. Liam bricked the bed. G'day, mate. How you? All the way from down under, I suspect. Thanks for stopping by. How you doing? We are building the Cullen house from Twilight. If you're a fan of Twilight as well, I don't know, but to me it's just a house. But I'm assured that it's a house from Twilight. So far we've built the little pickup truck that comes with the set. So I just like that truck. I think it'll be good for a layout. And then we've just finished the foundation of the actual house itself. And the house design is pretty awesome. I do really like it. Like I said, for me it's just a house. I think it would sort of look cool somewhere on my layout. Greatest swordsman, how you doing, man? I just thought it was a cool house. I love the colours of it. I love the design. I love the sort of architectural shape and whatnot. So it will look nice, sort of sitting somewhere in my layout. The Lego idea set, so it's nice to kind of support the sort of fan designers, isn't it, and put these sets up, especially if they're good. I haven't sorted the bags out though, so I've got to go rooting, see what I can find. The bag 3s are rather small ones, so I'll try and find bag 4 when I'm out. There we go. Greatest Swordsman, it is from the Twilight movie saga. So it's one of the houses, or the house, the main house, I don't know, from the movie. I haven't watched Twilight, I don't know a great deal about it, but I just really like the house, and I love this little truck as well that comes with it. So we're just on the bag 3, so we're still fairly early on in the actual build process, and bizarrely, inside this paper bag is a plastic bag. I didn't get a deal on it, no. I actually bought it at, it was actually could have been the weekend it came out, or very early on, sort of in its on a shelf life. I got some really good gift and purchase with it. It was at a time where they had a cool, one of the nice sort of botanical, let me actually go and grab them 1 second. I don't actually know where I put them. I thought I'd set them out, but anyway, yeah. So it was like a little flower bouquet, like a little botanical flower bouquet, and then they had done a rerun of the red baby spaceman upscaled figure. So I think there's double points, so I kind of cashed in on all of that and got what I would sort of argue was a decent enough deal. It was kind of the double gift of purchase that was the seller for me, so I was pretty happy to get both of them. I thought I had them sitting out, I have no idea what I've done. That's so much Lego, I don't know where half of it is. Plastic bag in the paper bag, what a condom. I know, right? See you, Swordsman. All the best, mate. Yeah, what's that all about, right? That's the first time I've actually seen that. I've seen the odd box, where there's like a wee mix of plastic and paper bags, but yeah, a plastic bag in a paper bag just seems somewhat counterproductive, really, doesn't it? We've got our latest minifigure here. The one you might be able to enlighten me on this. I'm going to guess that this is Bella's father, but you'll probably know by looking at it. It kind of reminds me of your dude out of what do you call him? Jameson, blah blah blah, whatever you call him, out of Superman or Marvel or whatever. So there we have him. We've got this dude with dark blue trousers there, same front and back. And then we have a nice sort of check button shirt with a wee bit of detailing on the rear as well. And we've got two faces. So we've got this little moustached face, sort of very serious looking there. And then kind of every bit of serious looking on that side, to be honest. And then he just has a little, or black hair, then just sort of fairly short swept back hair then. So that's figure number 2. He can just stand on the side of the truck as well for now. I find you gotta be. That's very interesting you should say that, because I would probably say on every single one of my live streams where I have used paper bags that there is always at least one piece gets left behind in, I want to say, without exaggerating, every single bag. So I have kind of become accustomed to sort of double checking them all with my hand, actually in the bag before I dispose of them. I don't know what it is about the paper bag, but they must paper bags, they must hold the bricks a little bit better or something. So yeah, that is a real problem for sure. Are you building anything yourself at the moment, Liam? Yeah, it's not a bad figure. I don't know how it sort of marries up with the actual character themselves. I don't know how representative it is, but he's quite neat. He just gives me he gives me kind of grumpy old man vibes there, to be honest. But maybe that's a bit unfair. Maybe he's not that way. I don't know. Okay, so now we're just kind of focusing a wee bit more here on something doesn't seem right here. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, just a wee bit of sort of landscaping here on the sort of exterior of the building. So just a few wee bits of plants and greenery and slopes and stuff going in, just to give it a wee bit more sort of interest. Just sort of the bumps. Yeah, the bum machines class. Well, my wife tried to get it for me for my birthday, but I think it was actually sold out at the time when she was looking to order it. She just wanted to get it direct from Lego. She doesn't know any better. So she just bought me a voucher instead. So I did pick it up. But much like yourself, I kind of have a lot of Lego, but kind of just take notions of what I build. So I actually do you know what? It's such a class set. I absolutely love it. I think it's my favourite modular. It's certainly right up there anyway. But yeah, I'm sort of kind of changing my habits a little bit. For a long time there, this house that I'm living in now, we actually built, not personally, but I got a builder to build it. So for a long time we were kind of living, and by we I mean my family, we were living like in relatives' houses, and then we had a caravan on site, so I had very little room for my Lego, so it all kind of ended up getting put away into my mother and father's roof space. So I just kind of have been gathering more and more Lego, but obviously just due to lack of space, living in a caravan, you don't really have much space, let alone to then fill it with Lego. So I just continued buying and sort of building up my collection, and it's kind of all just that box, which is sort of what prompted me to start this channel, so that I could kind of motivate myself to start unboxing things. And so in my new house then, above my garage, I have a dedicated Lego room, which is big enough. It's about 26 square meters, I think it is. So my intention is to have a big layout there. So I can't stream from up there, unfortunately, because there's no internet or data or mobile signal. So I have to stream from within my house. But I very much intend to eventually sort of get that room fully kitted out with tables the whole way around it and sort of start my layout. So the modulars that you see behind me here, I know that's quite hard to see, there's a lot of screen glare there, and I'll just stick out there, you can maybe see it a wee bit better. But all the modulars and buildings, pretty much anything that you can see behind me, including the Ninjago, will all eventually work their way into my layout. But for now, I just thought it made a nice wee backdrop for doing these streams, to be honest. It's a bit more interesting than the backdrop in my unboxing videos, my full form videos, which is just pretty rubbish, but I didn't really know what I was doing at the time, and it is what it is. So they're all there for now, but they will be coming out. It does look really good there. It's 110% an epic set. There's no two ways about it. I think it will sort of feature quite heavily in the sort of main city section of my layout when it gets there. The fishing store is an absolute monster as well, isn't it? It's so class. I didn't get that brand new, unfortunately. I wasn't really, the time it was released, I wasn't collecting Legos, so that was one I picked up in the secondary market, but I got a decent price on it, and it was in really good condition. I am a box collector as well, so I did manage to get the box and everything for it, so I was happy enough to sort of pick that up. I feel like it would have been a class set they've got at the time though, whenever it came out, because it is very cool. So again, I plan to have like a little kind of like a seaside or dock area, and I've got the fishing store to go in. I've got the Lego Ideas Harbour Masters office, I think it was called. No, not Lego Ideas, Bricklink Designer Program. And I have the Lego Ideas Lighthouse. So obviously quite heavily set based layout there, but I think they're all class sets, so they'll look the part and sit really well. But I've got quite a few of them to build, and I think sort of where that whole conversation started, I've got a wee bit sidetracked. Essentially, I'm now trying to build sets that I can integrate into my layout, so that I've got, you know, actual substance to my layout, you know, fairly quickly. So like I said, all those modules will move in. I don't think of anything else sitting anywhere else. I kind of want to do the Studgate train station from the Bricklink Designer Program next. I'm going to have a very train railway heavy layout. So I think I would like to build that station, and then I've got, you know, Brickcross station up there. So lots of great sets. The Harbour Masters office class, I just like how sort of well it integrates with the old fishing store there. I haven't built it yet though, but it's sitting in the backlog. Liam, it sounds like you're in demand. Have you built any of the Bricklink Designer Program sets yourself, or have you just sort of picked them up at this stage and you're getting on them? The only reason I ask is because I've built a few of them recently, and just sort of wondering what your opinions are on the digital only instructions are. Because I think I've made it very clear that I'm not a fan, but it is what it is. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. So, for me, the standouts, I actually really like this one here. Don't know how well you can see that, but that is, there's a Lego Creator 3-in-1 set from a few years ago. It was like a little cafe and apartments style set. It was like a little corner build. That was actually rebrickable with two of those sort of mocked up into a big sort of more modular style building, which I thought was really neat, and it's just a really cool corner build as well, so I really like that one. The Landnice Castle I picked up at the opening of the Lego store in Dublin. Yeah, it's kind of a nice set in that regard, because that was a really cool day. It was the first Lego store that opened in the whole island of Ireland, actually, north or south. It was only 3 years ago, and it was just such a momentous occasion, so it was so class. And I thought, what better way to treat yourself than to pick that up. And then obviously we've got a whole lineup of Lego idea stuff. There's also like a few wee random vehicles sitting in front there from various lines. I was saying earlier, the Hocus Pocus house is actually an extraordinarily good build. The level of detail in that house is just absolutely bonkers. I don't think I've seen a Lego set of that kind that has just so much packed into it. It was extraordinary actually what they managed to cram in. I think it would have meant a lot more if you were a fan of the movies perhaps, or sort of more familiar with the movies, because a lot of the references are kind of lost on me, to be honest. But nonetheless, it was really good. Yeah, I hate the digital instructions, I'm not gonna lie. And I know it's the times, and like really they're not that hard, but it's just something for me nice about having that physical instruction manual in your hand and sort of working with it. That's been my biggest problem. I've built a few of the sets. I've built Brick Cross Station. I built the old train shed, which is actually not sitting up in my layout at the minute. My layout basically consists of a train yard at the minute, which is a million miles from finished, but it has that in it, and then a number of sort of tracks and sidings. And then I also built the Wild West steam train, which was a fantastic build. Oh, that's amazing, mate. That's class. Look, I'm from Northern Ireland, and we got our first store last month. So we got our first store in Belfast there last month. So I got to go down to that, and I actually got to go to the preview evening and had an absolute blast at it. So I actually picked up, I'll show you now, this set at the preview evening. And yeah, this was a absolutely insane build and a humongous piece of Lego kit. But I picked that up then as a wee treat at the opening of the Belfast Lego store. Unfortunately, I've nowhere really to put it at the minute. It's quite big. Oh, you know Slurpee. Oh, very good. Yes, I actually didn't know Slurpee until very, very recently. Actually, he did one of those Sunday night lives that they do. He had a sort of friend of mine on, and sort of talking about the Belfast store opening, and yeah, sort of encountered Slurpee through that, and I've sort of chatted him a wee bit on live stream since then. So he seems like a pretty good guy. Like, so yeah, that was class. I absolutely loved that opening. So yeah, that's great news that you're finally getting the store. I'm sure you'll be buzzing. Not good for the wallet though. Baltonic Bricks, would you mock the new Grand Central station for the city? Oh, yes, Cool Hand Bricks, that's the one. Yeah, so I was watching one of their lives, which was quite good. Or not live, yeah. So I quite enjoyed that actually. Baltonic Bricks is asking would I mock the new Grand Central station for the city. So for context, Northern Ireland has had a pretty rotten transport infrastructure for quite some time, but very recently, we had a sort of fantastic new transport hub opened in Belfast City. Oh, are you? Oh, fantastic! I'll keep an eye out for that then. I've started subscribing it on YouTube anyway, so I sort of get the notifications. The only problem is depends what time I get back up. My daughter has hockey on Sunday night, or Sunday evening, so I'll have to go to I'll take her to that hockey match. I don't know what time we'll be back, but I'll see how that kind of works out. But anyway, yeah. So, we finally got sort of a transport hub worthy of a sort of modern European city. And he's asking if I would consider mocking it for my city. The short answer is I would love to. The even shorter answer is probably not. Only because I have a number of other wee projects that sort of would take priority if I get the time to do anything. I own a coffee shop, and I've told the story a few times, but there's rarely the same people on my streams, and apologies to anyone that keeps hearing this over and over again, but I own a coffee shop, and I sort of want to have quite a coffee heavy focus to my layout. So I plan to have like a coffee farm and a coffee roastery, which is all linked up via my rail transport network, and then 2 competing coffee chains. Well, 1 chain and 1 independent coffee shop. So the independent coffee shop will be my coffee shop, which is called the Copper Lab, and my intention then is to design it in studio and sort of build it out and place it into the city. I made a mistake, that's all. Yeah, I plan to sort of build it into the city. And then have a competing coffee chain, which would be just the sort of more standard. There's like just the Lego coffee chain. So I kind of want to design and build that. That'll be kind of my first project. And then I actually have a friend in the town that I live in who's opening an ice cream parlour. And sort of randomly through discussion, so we decided, or he kind of asked if I would design his ice cream parlour in Lego and build it for him. So I kind of want to crack on with those 2 things. I also really want to build the Harlington Wolf Crane Samson and Goliath. So, yeah, those are kind of my priorities at the minute. Thank you very much, Liam. It was great to chat to you. Be sure to check back in some other time anyway. I'm on here plenty, and I will do my best to get on Sunday night to watch you on Cool Handbrakes. If I don't, I'll watch it back sort of after the event. But have a good one anyway. Thank you. So Botanic Bricks, I know that was a bit of a long-winded answer, but I hope that sort of does answer your question. It would be cool to do, but just don't think it's necessarily that high up on my list of to-dos right now. Also, it would be a pretty substantial building, take up a lot of space, and have a couple of stations and things like that. It's kind of already purchased that I really want to sort of build in. I suppose there's only so much transport network you can have in your city. But it would be cool. It would be cool to build it. So, great question. You wouldn't consider building it yourself, no? Okay, so we're kind of just getting started now on the front wall of the building. So like up to this point it's all been very structural, so we were just kind of working on the foundations, the sort of plate work, and a wee bit of the sort of exterior, you know, putting in a wee bit of landscaping, and you know, some sort of shrubs and stuff around the actual outside of the building. So it actually looks quite cool. We also have just like a wee bit of a ramp up into what presumably is going to be the car park. So just for reference, that's kind of where we're up to so far. So it's a good sturdy base. I'll probably, I don't know if it'll go into my layout in this format or if I'll build it up a little bit more. We'll sort of see come time. So now we're just building up the walls, and it's a lot of sort of these, what are they, like 2x6 panel pieces. So I don't expect it'll take that long to sort of get it up a level or two. So we should start to see some significant progress pretty quickly. We're on bag 4 at the minute. There's 18 in total. Probably not going to get a huge amount more done on this particular stream, but we'll see. I'll hopefully get back on again this evening, get a bit more done. Not enough space or time to do many mocks. Currently deconstructing some sets so we can rotate some stuff. Time, space. The only thing that's missing from that sort of current equation is money. The three things that we just don't have enough of as Lego collectors, right? What are you sort of looking to get into your layout now, or into your display rather? You don't have a layout, Balsamic, do you? You're just sort of building display. Okay, and then some sort of window paneling going in the front. So again, I can see where the piece count is sort of low for a set of this scale. So like I said, it was just over 2,000 pieces, 2,001 pieces. And it's a 3-story building over a significant enough sort of frame here. You know, like I said, it's 40 by 20 at its widest. It is obviously cornered. You know, see there's a few studs in the corners, but for a building of this size, 2,000 bricks doesn't seem like a lot, but you know, there's a lot of panel pieces here to build a sidewall, and then we've got quite a bit of windows here to the front, so no city, just more build and display. That's good. To be honest, sometimes I think getting involved in the city is overwhelming. It's actually, I wouldn't go so far as to say demoralising, but I just really struggle to progress my city at the minute through sort of my own fault and fault of others, and it just really annoys me because I kind of really want to progress it. I really want to get building it. I want to sort of spend time up in that room, you know, landscaping and doing stuff, you know, but I haven't been able to because I just can't get the tables up and running at this point. But you know, that's partly my fault because I've only made so much effort, you know, to get them sort of up to my house, and then I need my father-in-law to do a wee bit of work for me to sort of shape them and all the rest of it, and he's actually just sort of stuck into a house project, so I don't know how available he's going to be for a little time. Hopefully get room for the UCS AT-ST and Soundwave. Yeah, Soundwave looks great. I'm not really a Transformers fan, and I haven't picked up either of the two previous ones because I haven't really found them overly interesting, but Soundwave looks amazing. I've lost my sticker sheet. Where on earth could it have gone? Must be in the instructions here somewhere. But yeah, I saw Soundwave and thought, oh, that looks great. But my fear is if I get that, and I'm not a big Transformers fan, so it doesn't sort of resonate with me as a fan of the movies or anything, or the cartoons or anything, but I fear if I get one, I'll have to get them all. Oh, I don't know what I've done with the sticker sheet, that's a bit annoying. It hasn't fallen down there. It's not underneath my computer. Well, isn't this wonderful? Sorry folks, I'll get back to building in a second. I've hit a minor problem here and I can't find the stickers. What have I done? Double check I haven't found somewhere. Well, that's curious. In the ATST, I'm not Star Wars enough to know what that is. Oh, find them. They have dropped down the side. Yeah, I don't. I know it's in some form of attack vehicle, for want of a better word, but I can't think what it is specifically. That's a fair point. And well, do you know what? Like, let's be honest. You could. Sorry, just let me apply the sticker. So, this is just a nice sort of landscape picture for the wall. Then that goes inside, just on the side of this wall here. Yeah, you could sort of try and go super original and not use any of the modulars, you know, within your layout, but let's be honest, you know, it's expensive to start building up a layout, and you know, to try and create the entire thing, you know, with your own unique builds is not easy. So it's kind of nice just to get a bit of, you know, get something down, and the modulars kind of provide that sort of quick, easy, right, this is the start of our layout, you know, we can start to visualize how it's going to look and sort of take it from there. And yeah, that old sort of, I've got one, I want them all, could get very expensive. So I appreciate that. So I don't know what we're building here. It's quite an interesting little thing. There's a random translucent tile in it, but then it gets covered up by various other bits and pieces, so not really sure what the sort of purpose for that in there is. And you can barely see it, if at all, by the time this is finished. Okay, so it looks like it's a piano. Oh, we've a grand piano. Very nice. So many different ways that these pianos are built. I've seen so many different designs for them. Goes in under there. Sorry, I'm just concentrating on this build here at the minute because it's a little bit sort of figuring. Will just be the lid then for the piano. Cool. So just built this sort of little grand piano here. So that's the kind of design there anyway. The actual legs for it are already sort of set into the floor in the little jumper plates. But that's quite a cool little design there. So I'll try and get this in without the whole thing falling apart underneath me. There we go. It makes it quite hard to see the picture on the wall because it sits up so high, but that's how it's been designed. And then we just have a double stool. There's obviously a couple of people sat at this piano then and played together. And that finishes off bag number 4. So I think I'll find bag number 5 and do it, and then I'll probably wrap it up there for this particular stream. I'll try and get back on later on this evening to do a bit more. I'd love to get this finished this week because I actually have, so bag 5 then folks, I actually have like a collaborative live stream coming up. Hopefully starting Friday. Just need to iron out the details with the chap I'm doing it with. And we're going to be building, if we've any Simpsons fans out there, I'm going to be building alongside him, both from the same location, the Simpsons Krusty Burger set, which released very recently. So we just need to kind of iron out the logistics of it, and just sort of work out how we're going to make that work. But yeah, so I'll be starting that on Friday. So I hate having multiple builds ongoing at the same time. So I kind of want to get this set built sort of before we kind of commence that little I also suspect there's going to be a whole lot of chatting and not a lot of building, so it might take us a little while to get through it. But I think it'll be fun. I kind of like to almost start a wee series out of it. I don't know if this aligns with his intentions now. But I'd like to start a wee series where we maybe just have a wee monthly catch up and just sort of concentrate on, Lego news and sort of Lego stuff going on in our area, because the part of the world that we're from, Lego's not incredibly well represented, sort of by and large. So, if anyone wants to sort of keep abreast with Lego news, hopefully we'll be able to kind of bring that to them. So, and then obviously, like I say, we'll be building in and amongst it. So again, we're just adding a bit more sort of wall structure on here, and then we've got our stairway here, which is fairly straightforward. It just uses the standard stair piece from Lego, the molded piece in white. And then we have these modified tiles with a stud on either end in light nougat. Sort of give it a bit more of a sort of modern feel. And then that just goes on to that corner there and presumably attaches on the floor there. There we go. And that just gets tied off along the top end. Fantastic. Oh, that's what we got. That. Okay. So it just gives us access into the next story in the building. We've also just carried on what's presumably a little sort of fence along the front of the building. We need to flip the whole thing around, and we're just going to carry on with just a wee bit more brickwork along the side. So again, we're just using a lot of these sort of larger bricks. So again, I can totally see why the brick piece wasn't super high in this. Another window panel as well here on the side. But it looks great. It's super modern looking. I think they've done a really good job designing. Well, obviously it's based on the house from the movie, but it looks the part. I think it's a really good build. It's just nice to have that sort of slightly more modern building within your Lego layout. 2 more wee windows up the side of them. Just finish this wee bit of brickwork on the side here, and again it's built using, like I said, these sort of 1x3 brick and 2x3 brick, and they sort of interlock with one another, and it creates a nice sort of pattern, because you've got like 1 wide and 2 wide, and then it's inverted up above, so it looks pretty good. I'll cap it all off once I might do one more bag, because this bag has been really quick. I'm going to get this done. I'll just give you a wee quick sort of tour of the building up to now anyway. And then all plated together just to hold it all in place. Well, most of it. Just there's a little table of some description with some flowers and a little, I don't know what that is. I'm not entirely sure what that represents, but I'm going to presume it's like maybe a wee bottle of perfume or something like that. I don't know. Again, I don't know if these are movie references or what. So unfortunately, I can't really give it any more context than, just telling you what to see, because I haven't seen any of the movies, so I don't know what entirely they relate to. Well, say, what's the crack, man? The minifig guy. Say, the minifig guy. I've never, that's class. I've never noticed that before. I'm really good, mate. How are you? Thanks for dropping by. We're just having a bit of fun here with the Cullen house, which I am building with absolutely zero movie reference whatsoever, so it's almost entirely lost on me. However, oh, look at the scrape down that glass piece is seeing much better, yes. However, it's a pretty class set. It's very good. I give them their dues. I also have way too many pieces left over here that don't make sense, and where are they meant to go? I don't actually recall seeing them at any point. Yeah, so far so good. It looks really good. It's not the most challenging of builds. It's all very, I was saying, for such a big build, the part count isn't overly high on it. Oh, there we go. 22,000 pieces, but it's very much panels and windows, so it's come together really quickly. But it looks good. Like I said, I've no reference to the material because I haven't seen it, so I don't know what a lot of stuff means. But I bought it purely because I thought it was a cool house, rather than because I have any particular affection for the movies. And it is absolutely a cool house. We've got another minifigure here. Again, I don't know who this is, but the minifig guy's here, so maybe he will. So let me just put them together here and I'll let you have a look at them. Okay, so this is absolutely a vampire, I know that much. Purely based on the eyes. I'll not put his hairpiece on because he does have 2 faces. So again, we've got flesh tone hands and head. He's quite a dapper looking chap. So there we go. Little chap here with a shirt, blue tie, what looks like a little grey cardigan and a scarf, and then just a little bit of detailing on the rear, a bit of creasing. The legs are just black legs, and then we have the normal face here, so just like a little bit of a, let's get that in, wee bit of a smile there, and then over here we've got vampire eyes, and then he's got this super slick back blonde hair. So I don't know who that is, but he's pretty good, and he's just going to join the rest of my crew on top of the pickup truck. So I'll carry on building for now. what time we have? 1:10 so I do need to sort of mosey very soon. So we'll see how quickly we get through this bag. If we have time for one more, that'll be great. There's 18 bags in total. If I get the bag 7, I'm just shy of it. Well, I'm currently a third of the way through now, which would be good. I do really want to get this built sort of over the next couple of streams if I can. Like I say, I'll really like this done before starting the Quickie Mart. Or not the Quickie Mart. Come on, Stephen. Think. Krusty Burger. So I'd love to have this finished before I start the Krusty Burger. So I think there's just a wee porchway here. Presumably goes out the front door. Guys, anyone that's tuned in there, if you do know who that minifigure is, if you have any sort of reference, do let me know. Maybe I should have done a wee bit more sort of due diligence and sort of read up on the movies before starting. Maybe I would have had a bit more context. Again, as far as I'm concerned, they're just minifigures. That's kind of how I see them and how I'll be treating them. But I appreciate that they're more than just a minifigure. Right, another doorway here then. And then some more windows down from the side, I presume. Doesn't necessarily show in this set of instructions, but Chris3333 said hi. Hi Chris, how you doing, man? Hope you're well. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, nice. Okay. This is cool. So this actually, there's a wee hinge plate on the side of this. No, it actually goes on this side. This actually hinges in at an angle. So that's kind of why all those plants are in place as well. Just to, I don't know, I've done something wrong here. Have I missed a whole set of instructions? Oh, I did. Oh yes, I've kind of skipped a whole page. Silly. Right. I wondered why I couldn't get that to actually go in. Right, I've missed a whole section of the instructions. There we go. And there's another wee set of windows then with these kind of, this like crisscross frame then that goes in the side. And that goes on there, I think. Yep. Okay, and now this little porchway goes in. Like I said, this gets built in at an angle. So there's brick there for it. And it just sits in really nicely, so it's quite good. It just adds a wee bit of sort of extra interest to the front of the house. Instead of all sort of square edges, we've got this nice little angled sort of porchway here that leads into the front of the house. So that's cool. And we just have to build up the wall sort of to the side of that. And I'll just finish that all off. So if you're still there, have any plans of getting up to the Lego store at any point? I know for the last time I spoke to you, I thought you'd get up at some point. Did you? You haven't sort of worked out anything yet, or? There we go. And just a wee bit of plate work to build this all to the same level, and just across the front of the house then, that just ties that all in really nicely. There we have it. That looks cool. And then I think we're just again carrying on the paper, just kind of finish off this little section, presumably getting sort of ready for the next level. This last little section here, I'm not sure what this actually is. It almost looks like some sort of a sign you'd expect to see, you know, maybe outside a petrol station or something. Kind of the way it's built up, right? Oh, it might be like a pillar, maybe to support an overhang upper floor. Perhaps, I'm not sure. Haven't really got that far in the build yet. I have pieces left over here. You've missed a section again, haven't I? We've got this little plant pot here then with these few little plants in it. And that just goes on that stud that was left from earlier. There we go. So here's where we're up to so far then. So that's majority of the bottom floor done, I think. So there's a little view of the front there, so you can see lots of nice sort of window panels and stuff there. It's a nice modern looking house. Just spin you around then and you can see sort of the front porch, that nice little angled wall there. Yeah, got a wee bit of internal detail. Well, do you know what? It's unintentional, but it is nice. I didn't actually. I've kind of had to create a temporary space to stream out of because I can't sort of get in the room that I want to because I don't have internet access up there. So I had a few random cabinets that were not in use and tons of Lego sets, and I thought, you know what, to make a lovely backdrop. So it's a pretty awesome collection, I must say myself. Although most of it is going to have to come out and go into the city at some point. But that's probably for another time. Bag number 7 then. Let's have a wee look and see. It's a significant enough bag. I don't know if I kind of want to really start into it just yet. I might just leave it. It does kind of finish off the entire bottom floor, but I'm very aware of time and I do have some jobs to do unfortunately today, so I'm probably going to wrap the stream up right now, kind of where we're up to. I'd love to keep building, to be honest, but time's got the better of me here today. But I will look to carry on this particular build tonight, all being well. I'll hopefully be able to go live again maybe 8 o'clock-ish, maybe for like an hour and a half. So if I can get on a bit later on, I'll carry on building this up. Like I said, I really want to get it finished this week, so I would love to get a little bit more done. But we're going to finish off there for now and move that out of the way, just so you can kind of see the build in sort of all its glory there so far. Anyway. So just stick it right up to the front there. And then obviously we've got that wee truck sitting beside it. So yeah, I'm going to just wrap it up here now then, folks. Thanks again for everyone that has tuned in. Remember, if you do want to see this build finished, do consider subscribing. Just so you get an update obviously when I go live again, because I'll be carrying this build on. And then trying to get it finished. So if you want to kind of see this through to the end, drop us a wee sub anyway, and we'll be able to carry this on in the next stream. And check out some of the other videos. Make sure to give them a wee like, give me a wee hand, help boost the channel and help sort of push it the right way toward the right people. But again, like I said, thanks very much. If anyone's stuck right through, you're an absolute star. I will go on about business and I'll tune back in another time. I'll just bring the camera down here actually and let you have a wee bit of a look a bit closer at the build itself. So, so there we have the internal ends. We've got that nice grand piano there with a double stool. Here we've got a wee pant pot in there, and then in this little section, it's like a wee sort of side hall, just a wee table there with some decorations on it. A little chessboard in the corner there, and then like I said, just all that detailing. And then we've got the truck here with these 3 characters on it. I don't know who any of them are, but they're there. So yeah, like I said, I'll carry this on as soon as I can. But in the meantime, have a great day, folks, and catch us all later.